All right, peace, everyone. Welcome to the Herbalist Lounge. Herbalist Lounge June. And our topic is seed to table. Seed to table. So I'm excited to build on this topic this evening with you all. And whether it's your first time at the Herbalist Lounge or not, we ask that you please mute your mic when you're not speaking, just to eliminate the background noise. But by all means, feel free to chime in, unmute yourself, contribute, add to the cipher, and flow. You also can participate in the chat at any time. So let's get this cipher flowing. Your facilitators for this evening are myself, Martina, aka Boogie, aka Mama Okra, and that sounds so good right now. And with me, I have my other Spice sisters. I'm gonna go ahead and pass the mic over to Lanita.
Peace, y'all. Glad to have you with us tonight. Sorry, flipping my mind back on. Now I'm in the right place. Seed to table is our topic tonight. Can't wait to get into that. Thank you for joining us, and let's get this cipher started.
All right. We also have Asia. Asia's in the house. Asia's transitioning right now. You good, Asia? You out there? When you're ready to tune in, let us know.
Peace. This is Asia. I'm representing rainy Washington. Y'all could probably hear the raindrops. But yes, glad to be here, aka Lady Lavender, aka Lady Driving in the Rain tonight. Okay.
I love it. I love it. Oh, Lanita, what's your AKA? AKA telling me just 5 minutes ago that I wasn't making my popcorn right, but that's a different story. Maybe we'll bring that up in tonight's cipher. Okay. Yeah. So before
this is Lanita, aka Yai Lanita, and I am repping the Black Land Ranch.
Okay, represent. I hear you. And I'm gonna go ahead and tell you where I'm representing. But first, I want to give thanks to the ancestors and the plantcestors, to our community, the ones that manifested this beautiful energy and make this continue to happen every day. So let's keep continuing to build this amazing mycelium network. Okay, y'all. Now, Lanita is tuning in from Blackland Ranch. She already told you. Boop boop. I'm tuning in from the peninsula known as Florida. Where y'all tuning in from? Let us know which part of this beautiful place we call home are y'all tuning in from this evening. Feel free to put in the chat. Feel free to unmute yourself at this time, either or, and let us know where you're tuning in from.
All right, Clarissa, is that you in Covington, Georgia? We got Angelita from Florida. It's a hot from the ethers. Indiana. All right.
Oh, Lanita got jokes tonight, and I love it. All right, we got Sanjay from the Boogie Down Bronx. What up? All right, I love it. I love to see y'all. I was gonna say I love to see y'all faces. If y'all have a profile picture, I love to see y'all faces. And in either way, I love to feel y'all energy with us tonight. So thank you so much for tuning in. Okay, if you haven't had a chance, feel free to put it in the chat. But I think we got everyone for now. As we still unwind and allow people to get settled in, what herb is resonating with you right now? And or what are you sipping on? Because what you're sipping on may not be what's resonating with you, or maybe you got a few things going on. So feel free to put in the chat what's something you're either sipping on right now, or an herb you're building with, or an herb that's been on your mind. Let's see. I need to fill my cup up while we wait.
All right, well, I'm gonna jump in here. The herb that I'm really feeling is some Vitex agnus, and that is known as monk's pepper, or all the other names. I don't know what y'all call it, but anyway, that one, that's the herb that I'm really feeling because it resonates with so many different things. And right now it's blooming out here, and the flowers are beautiful on that plant. I love it. So I'm feeling that, but I'm sipping on some Zobo.
Can you
So
tell us
y'all know
what
that.
Zobo is? What is Zobo for the people who don't know, though?
Okay, so the Zobo is got some hibiscus, some ginger, some cloves, and I put a little dash of moringa in there just to make me feel good. So that's some good stuff there.
Nice. Is that a traditional drink from somewhere, Lanita, specifically?
Yes, it is. That is the traditional drink in West Africa. It's called Zobo in Nigeria and Ghana. In Senegal, it's called Bissap. So it just depends on where you are in West Africa, but that is an African name for it, especially when you put the ginger and the cloves in there. That's Zobo.
Okay, cool. Appreciate it. Nice. Thanks for sharing. And we got Clarissa in the chat said, I went to this Japanese store called Tesso Life. Q and I had so much fun. I love it. You guys bought all kinds of things, but you purchased some green tea with jasmine in it. Aromatic and energizing. That sounds amazing, Clarissa. That sounds real nice. Love it. Love it. All right. So while everyone else kinds of thinks about what they're sipping on or what they're
Yo,
resonating.
what's up, chat? What's up, chat? This Quint. What's up?
Oh, what's going on, Q? How are you doing?
Yo.
Chilling.
Hey.
Glad to hear y'all again. See y'all and see some of the pictures and hear y'all and see.
So
Talk about some good
yeah,
stuff today.
let's talk about some good stuff. So speaking of which, since we have you on right now, can you please share with us what herb or herbs or what's resonating with Q? What's going on in your herbal life right now?
You know what's going on in my herbal life. You, you know what's going on. I'm gonna leave it at that.
I'm just gonna say we got some hibiscus lovers in the house tonight. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yes, hibiscus, really good hibiscus.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with that. But it's good to hear
No,
your voice.
you too.
All right. I love that. Yeah, I love it. So we got the Zobo, the West African hibiscus, hibiscus for life, it looks like, green tea, jasmine. Angelita's drinking some Topo Chico Mexican water. Yes, I love that water, nice and bubbly. Is that the bubbly one? It's the mineral water. And either way, I dig the brand and I love nice, cool glass of water in a nice glass. So delicioso. I'm over here.
I've never seen that. I've never tasted that before. What does it taste like? I've seen the bottles, but what does it taste like?
If I were to describe it, it's you know how you taste different types of water and they're not all water is not all the same, depending on the mineral content, pH, all different types of factors, right? This is a chemical composition in general and the energetic profile. It really just tastes like a real balanced mineral nutrient rich water. That's how I can describe it. And it's stored in glass containers, so it makes it the energy of it's just even crisper, if that even makes sense. They do have some other types that are like a little bit more on the carbonated side, but it's not overly carbonated. You know how they have like the carbonated water. It's slightly like more.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the best way to describe it. I'm gonna have to marinate on that. Okay, Angelita says it's sparkly and delicious. It's full of electrolytes. There you go.
Oh, okay. I like that electrolyte. I'm gonna have to buy one then. I've seen the bottles. I just never tasted it.
They're delicious. All right, so good stuff. I'm actually sipping on some Biden's herb that I foraged not too long ago, and I made a nice tea out of it. And I'm so excited because thinking of Biden's, it's one of those herbs that's abundant. And tonight's topic is seed to table. And Biden's is a traditional herb that's used therapeutically in so many different things. And in addition to that, it's a herb that's used in stews as a vegetable. So there's so many different applications, poultices, but I want to explore it more, not just in the decoction and the herbal infusions and poultice ways, but I've been exploring it more and adding it to like different stews and different alternatives to leafy greens and vegetables. And it has a peppery taste to it too when you add it that way. So that's what I'm sipping on tonight. And I don't have it hot. I have it room temperature and it's nice and cooling because it's been really hot and hydration is really important. So that's what I am sipping on tonight. All right.
All right, yo. So I am strawberry leaves are resonating with me right now. So Over here, it is strawberry season. They're about to kick off all these strawberry festivals, and they're selling a lot of strawberries from the farm. But just a reminder, do not toss out those leaves. Go ahead and throw them in your smoothies, in your salad. If you throw it in your salad, cut it up smaller so it's edible and chewable. It's high in vitamin C. It's very good roughage. So you have some good fiber content. And over here the weather is up and down. So right now it's like in the 50s, but next week, like a week from today, it will be in the 90s. So and it might go back down again. So that vitamin C content is everything when you're talking about, getting that into your diet and into your gut.
Question. Since the new regime has come in, who picking them strawberries?
I don't know, but I know up and around here, I was about to say you. I still see people out there. Is all I'm gonna say.
So ice ain't got to y'all yet, huh?
They've been around. They were around. But yeah, I mean, I still see people picking stuff out here. So
I thought we were gonna be low on produce this spring, but it's good to hear that y'all are getting y'all's in. So that's good.
That's a good question as we talk about, this whole topic seed to table, right?
That's right.
Uh-huh. So like where's your food coming from? Are you getting the food? What I've noticed around here, and it's because, maybe because I just moved up here not too long ago, so I notice things a little bit differently. When you go to the grocery store, you see the same boring stuff. And so I have to like go to the farmer's market to get something a little bit more interesting. But yeah, I'm seeing a lot of the same stuff. And what I do see like in the retail sector, because that's some of my bread and butter, is that there's less products available. There's less stuff out there. Even if they're spreading it out or making shelves like smaller or shorter, there's less stuff. So there's less food. That means that there's less seeds available for us. So as we go into this topic, it'll be good to discuss seed saving as we're growing as well too. So good question, Lanita.
I absolutely love all of that, all of the above. And it kind of brings us to this next question, seed to table. What does it mean to you? I mean, it's more than just, okay, we're growing food and now we're eating it at the table. There's food systems and networks and, all the above. So you just kind of started going into that a little bit, Asia, and I appreciate that. Bring that up, Lanita. What is seed to table to you all? Like when you hear seed to table, what sparks in your mind initially and just overall? Any thoughts, any feelings on that?
Y'all know, last year was the first year of 2024, whatever year. It's my first time planting in Senegal with just seeds. Anytime I plant here, you can always buy the started plant. So I had to buy a whole bunch of seeds, and I started my plants from seeds. And I found out that is really not easy. I mean, it's very difficult to start from seed and get the seed to take off to get to a full grown plant. I planted so many seeds, and out of that, I only got about 3 or 4 different varieties of vegetables that, really came up. So a lot of that we take for granted. And I've seen Martina saving seeds. Y'all don't know how tiny them seeds can be. Some of the seeds look like a period at the end of a sentence. I mean, they are so tiny. But if you ever trying to grow carrots, you know what I'm talking about. But them tiny little seeds, carrots, lettuce, a lot of our fruits and vegetables, they come with very small seeds. But it is so important to save these. And I have learned the value of saving those seeds, because a lot of the stuff that we buy in the store, they even have some now to make people think that they're organic. They got fake seeds in them, but they're not going to grow. So, just be aware.
No, that's a big point. And that's something that I really got to dive deep into these past couple years as an ag teacher, because the one thing that the school had that I was at was a dilapidated greenhouse, and we revitalized that greenhouse. In the greenhouse, I started learning about different types of greenhouses, and this one specifically was fit for a nursery. So we started growing plants, and you're absolutely right. Like, it's for us, what we experienced was it's easy to put the seeds down and you fine tune how you're growing them, what type of trays, is it direct sow? So we learned that after like the first 6 months. Like, a lot of people were telling me, try the coconut coir. I know it has its advantages, but I found for the seeds that I was growing, coconut coir did not work well. A specific type of soil mix would work better. And depending on what you're growing and what season it is in, your climate. So once I got that down, I had really good germination rates. But with really good germination rates, it's like once these plants start to mature, that's where the challenge would kick in. So it's just like you got to have a place for those plants to go. Like you're a nursery, you're selling those plants to people and you get the word out. And what I find is a lot of people love that. A lot, because it's hard to get starter plants unless you're going to big stores like Lowe's and Home Depot. A lot of the smaller nurseries that were amazing have been closing down. A lot of the mom and pops nurseries that had vegetable startup plants for all around the year have shut down. So doing that for the community was beautiful. Like, we're still rolling into late spring and giving people different varieties of tomatoes and okras. And for us, it's a blessing because we get to get rid of the plants early, give them a home and someone who's going to have the time and energy to nourish those plants so that they're successful. Because on a larger scale, we have a lot of raised beds. That's what we did mostly. Raised bed containers, not really a lot of in-ground because of our poor sandy soil. But when the hardest thing was waiting to get to that harvest. And like you said, it's a lot of work. And when you correlate the startup, all the seeds you sowed, all the energy, all the water, any type of nutrients and soil and everything else that you did, pollination, all the way down to how much did you harvest, it's a math equation or a math formula. And you're just like, oh, it's important to be able to yield it. It's a science, but there's ways to do it. And that's what's beautiful about it. But it's intriguing, but it's a lot of work, and a lot of people I don't think understand how hard it is. So when I think of seed to table, depending on, like, even if it's for a small family, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of patience, and it's just something that you got to put your energy into it so you can get what you need out of it.
Yeah, Asia's giving an amen on that. You buy the stuff at the grocery store and you think you can, save that from the seeds or whatever and grow. And a lot of times it doesn't grow. So that's why it is better if you have the possibility to buy from farmers markets. And I mean, sometimes you even have to question them if their stuff is, what they used on it to grow it or whatever. If they use hybrid seeds, a lot of farmers love the hybrid seeds because you have a much better yield with them. But the problem is that you can't seed save with them. You sometimes, if you can save the seeds, the next year you may get something, and the chances are not as good. The output is not as good. If you try to use the second generation, you're not going to get anything. So you have to understand, trying to use a farmer's market is the best way to do it. Some of us are around co-ops where you can get, what's this thing called? The Ugly Foods place. I know that's not what the name of it is, but basically, it's called Misfits, where you can buy that stuff. That stuff generally is good. It's organic seeds, and it's just, the farmers don't like them. I mean, the stores don't like them because they too big, they dented or whatever. So these are different options that you have getting your food fresh from the farm. And even if you're not from a farm, they will, ship these boxes to you.
Yeah, those are really good points. And if you are doing from seeds, like, there's a lot of good seed companies out there. You get to know your good seed companies that do good work out there. Ask around. One of them that I've been ordering from lately is True Love Seeds, based out in Philly. They have really good seed collections, and Their seeds are amazing. All the produce I've been getting from them, we get to save the seeds time and time again. Also, when you have seeds, a lot of times it's not the seeds, it can be maybe how you're doing things. One thing I learned from Miss Beverly, because we had a grant and we were spending a lot of money on getting seeds, so it was important that we were able to return on that. So she would just share different types of varieties that were good for this condition, like the Florida variety of what's the best tomatoes for this climate, or what's the best type of mustards for this climate, and share that type of knowledge. Or just talking to people in the community, what are the different plants that you guys grow in this area. That really helped us have a bountiful harvest, and more seeds and whatnot as well. And then also something as simple as the pH of your soil, and just checking out what your plants need, and go back to the basics and just fine tuning that, and that can take you a long way too. Thank you, Clarissa. Clarissa put the Misfits Market in the comment, so check that out. So this is good stuff. What else? What are y'all thinking about? What does it mean to y'all? Seed to table.
That's it.
What does it mean to y'all? We talking about growing seeds, like, yeah, them little dots look like little grains of salt. That can listen. I had 200 students. Okay, I had 200 students running, collaborating with me. The sixth graders, the young ones with the little hands, like, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I identified the top in a class of 30 to 35 students per class. I had 6 classes. I would run from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. every day, Monday through Friday. I would know which ones were best at sowing seeds and which ones would put 100 carrot seeds in one hole. And we would have a bunch of messed up stuff. And they learned. So, I had it made, but I also had to facilitate a lot as well. But it can be done. Seeds.
Well, Martina, you're talking about working with kids. And I know when I was a kid, I was actually a teenager, and they started community gardens where we lived. My grandmother and my mother tried to get me to go out there to the garden with them. And I was like, we fought for 200 years to get off the plantation, and you trying to take me back. I thought it was such a terrible thing. And a lot of us, especially if you're living really in the city and you don't see all this green stuff, it's kind of hard, but introduce your children to this and let them taste the difference of the food that you get from the farms. One thing I didn't know, I've been living out here for over 24 years, and I didn't know they had some U-Pick farms. And so, there's some places, some people came to visit me, and they looked it up, and they went and they got the best stuff. And let me tell you, they were eating fruit, and they were spitting the seeds off on the back porch. Do y'all know that stuff grew? We didn't even plant it. They just was blowing seeds out in the yard, and we started growing. It was honeydew melons. So getting your kids out there, let them get their hands dirty, let them see what it's like to pick it. It is no experience like picking the fruit and come home, clean it, and eat it. It tastes different, and letting them to experience that is just an awesome experience.
You're right. It's fresh. So now you're talking about childhood, Lanita. So what was the first seed you guys all recall planting? I thought that was a good question because, in school, you always have that one class where you get maybe like a bean plant or something, or you plant something, you get to take it home. I don't know, but can y'all remember the first seed that you recall planting? Maybe not the very first seed, but what are some of the earliest seeds that we planted? Do you have memories of that? Man, this is getting dark. I was about to say, wait, y'all remember planting anything as a child? And maybe in your little environmental science class? Okay. Clarissa says, I think it was a bean at school. Yeah, I have those memories too, Clarissa. It was like a bean plant. And Sanjay says maybe a mango seed. Ooh, nice. Okay. And Asia says beans, tomatoes, cucumbers. Asia planted the whole garden, basically.
I can tell you, I was grown. The first time I decided I wanted to have a garden on my balcony. and I planted tomatoes and cucumbers, and no, tomatoes and bell peppers, and they grew, and I was so excited just to, have that. But yeah, that was the first thing I ever tried to grow.
I love it. I love it. So what kind of things are people growing now? Are we growing things? Are we growing things that we're eating? Or like, I know it would be lovely for us to say, hey, I mean, for me, myself, to say I grow everything I eat, but absolutely not. But more and more I think about that. I think about, okay, what are the foods that I eat a lot? And would I be able to grow those? Or would I be able to switch things up? Is there a substitute that I can grow locally? So what kind of foods are you guys growing? What kind of foods do we eat a lot? I know I do a lot of onions and peppers all day, every day, tomatoes, like things like that. I'm just like, I need to make sure I have a constant flow of that. Herbs, fresh herbs, like cilantro, one of my favorites, which are all those are pretty easy if you have the right conditions to grow. You don't need a lot of space.
I mean, right now, I have some plants that have, inadvertently sprouted and started to grow on their own. So, sweet potatoes and onions and the regular potatoes, those are all growing for me. And then also, it's not a edible, but the citronella plant or citrosa, I don't know which variety it is, but just, to also keep the pests away from what is growing and to protect that. So I'm also probably about to throw some more, like some beans in the mix, since a lot of those are direct sow and they go crazy anyway. It doesn't take a lot of effort. Because right now I'm not growing in the ground. I'm growing in like raised beds, like way off the ground. So, just to get some other stuff growing in there and get that soil where it needs to be. That's what I'm looking at right now.
Well, I'm being lazy. I'm not planting anything, but I do eat what grows out here. My blackberries grew. I got, free food, blackberries. I have sheep sorrel. Um, I got lemon balm in my back porch. I am actually planting peppermint in my front yard. And I got some mustard greens that refuse to die. They came back from last year. I didn't even plant them. They just volunteered. So I still got greens coming up.
And that's another story about the mustard greens. We've been growing all kinds of mustards. And like Lanita said, some of those greens will come back over and over again. But we let ours go to seed, especially when it started getting hot. A lot of them started bolting, and we just saved the seeds. But we had an abundance, a harvest that was so big, we just didn't have enough people. You would imagine, like, mustards, I'm not going to say are the most popular, but we had an abundance. So what we did was we froze them. What do they call, Anita, again? What kind of freezing? Dry freeze? My brain right now. Hold on. Basically we saved them. We blanched them and we froze them, and I put them in like little like cube shapes, so I can just add them all throughout the year in soups and stuff, and they keep a nice good texture and flavor. So that's another thing, is preserving. Sometimes we can't grow things all year round, but we can have an abundance, and learning different ways in which we can preserve things, like pickling, fermenting, freezing, drying, powdering, things of that nature can help you bring things in a long time as well. It goes hand in hand.
Like a flash freeze, Martina? Or
Yeah.
a flash, not freeze, but like you boil them real quick.
Yeah, like a flash boil.
We call that blanching.
There you go.
Blanch. There we go.
Yeah, you blanch them, you dip them in the hot water and then freeze them.
Yeah, I was just saying blanching. Yeah.
We talking about flash freeze, boiled. You know how to hook it. I was right there with you, Asia.
Like it's quick. You put in that water real quick,
and then you put it in the ice real quick too. You flash it right afterwards, and then boom.
Yeah.
Basically, boom, boom, bam. That's what you do. If someone asks me, they're gonna be like, "What?"
And Martina, you just brought up another thing too, that people think of seed to table, think of growing, because like out here we call it neighbor squash season. Everybody always playing too much squash and then they're giving it away. You know, they got way more squash than they can eat. And so your neighbors just bring you free squash. You're like, what am I gonna do with all this squash?
That happens to me.
Exactly. But the thing too, you know, don't be afraid to, even if you go into a farmer's market or whatever, and you see a whole bunch of something that you like, buy them all. And then you come home and preserve it. So, you know, you can make jellies, you can make jams, you can, you can do a lot of things with it. And y'all don't sleep on YouTube. There are a lot of YouTube videos that tell you how to do everything. And if you don't, find an old person that, you know, it's a lot of old people around that still remember how to do these things. So, and this is a lost art, saving food, canning, drying, you know, putting things up. Like Martina said, still got a freezer full of greens from last winter. But, you know, hey, we still got greens and I got new ones coming up. So I'm going to have another year's worth of greens. Save that.
Greens on top of greens, you know what I mean? I love it. I love it. Yeah, all this is important. And we're talking about like growing our own stuff, but sometimes it's other people because, you know, it's definitely a collaborative effort. It's nice to be able to grow as much as you can. At the same time, I like to look to the community and support people who are, you know, growing stuff as well. And you might have an overabundance of certain things like squash and zucchini. You'd be like, why couldn't they give me all the mangoes though? You had a bunch of mangoes. Why they ain't leave a bunch of mangoes at my door? But that's a whole other story. But no, for real, just kind of collaborating because everyone can grow something and we all come together and, you know, support one another. And that's ideal because we have a lot of different systems. Earlier, Angelita said that farm to table, she thinks of fresh, like things that are fresh, locally grown, grown with love. Like that's what matters. I don't have to grow it, but if I know that's how it's being grown and I want to support you and the work and the energy that goes into that food so we can make sure it continues to be that way. Unfortunately, it's not all the way like that, but you know, it's important. It's important.
And I don't know how it is for you guys, but I know that a lot of times fresh produce at the farmer's market can sometimes be cheaper than what it is at the grocery stores, because depending on, you know, how far they're coming to the farmer's market, how big it is, whatever. But sometimes you can get better quality food at a better price. So I know my neighbor grows the best cantaloupes, and you have to get there early before he sell out. Every time he goes, they gonna sell out. So, you know, knowing that you are helping the neighborhood, you're keeping the economy growing. Not like we're trying to run Walmart out of business, but, you know, if we can get better, healthier food, why not?
Yeah, for sure. And I totally agree with that. And, you know, the more diverse foods we eat, it's the better for our guts and our systems. So, yeah, I totally agree with that. And then those farmers at the farmers market, they're gonna have different varieties of stuff too. So, you know,
Yep.
of course you have to record from the beginning to the end, but from, you know, from seed to sell. But also what I've seen is that, you know, some of those plants are gonna cross pollinate. So, you know, the variety that a farmer might have, like in Hawaii, for instance, they have all different types of pineapples is because of cross pollination. So, you know, you're going to get like a white pineapple, a pink pineapple, a yellow pineapple, you know. So it's really good. It's really cool. So I like stuff like that.
Yeah. And Angelita said that, you know, sometimes it's cheaper, you got more nutrients, and since they traveled less, and that's is very serious because, you know, a lot of times, especially if you buy bananas, you see they got all these green bananas stored up under the counter waiting to put them up there. You know how long they pick them bananas so early, and they depended on them to get right, you know, in a truck, on a core, in a box, on wherever. And you're losing the nutrients out of those when they pick the fruits too early. So when you buy from the farmer's market, you are definitely getting fresher fruits. Does anybody have any experiences with seed to table? I mean, buying fresh fruits, vegetables, whatever that you can from places. Did you have any positive or negative experiences?
I have positive and negative experiences.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, like for me, in my experience here in Central Florida, you know, from in the past 6 years, starting off as, you know, starting off a community garden and a historically Black neighborhood, his African American neighborhood here in my hometown, and transitioning later to agriculture and just tapping more into the systems and seeing what's out there. Like once again, I go right back to community centered agriculture. It takes a village. It's beautiful. Like you drive in the neighborhoods, you see people growing different things. You got the person who grows a neighborhood who's known for the collard greens. You got the person who does the peppers, the sorrel, the callaloo. You know, all these different culturally relevant foods. Like that is so important. Like when you go to the grocery store, for example, these big chains, for the most part, they're gonna have the basics. They're not gonna have a lot of culturally relevant foods, and it can be very boring. You know, they got some staples that you may not be able to get in abundance, but at the same time, when you look at those culturally relevant foods, like the plantains, different type of peppers, like the produce never looks that great. They pick it way too early. Unless you go to, like you said, these farmers markets or these different types of cultural markets or whatnot, or just connect with people that have their small farms. So it really is about, in my experience, seed to table for me means community. Like going out there, seeing what's going on. Where are my local community gardens at? Let me support you. Oh, I can go ahead and have a little spot here and plant. That's amazing. Like a couple months ago, I met someone from Chicago that was on the Herbalist Lounge, and she said she was going to connect when she gets to Florida. She connected last week and was like, "Yo, I'm in Central Florida. Where's the local community gardens? Like, I want to sow some seeds. I want to start building with people, and just knowing what's out there." And after talking to her about it, I realized, like in certain areas, like where you have food insecurity and stuff, there may be a lack of it, and then you start seeing other social reasons why there's a lack of certain things, like with transportation insecurity, et cetera, et cetera. But these different obstacles and hurdles that prevent these different pathways for food to get out to people is something that's big for me that comes to mind when I think of seed to table. You know, we're at a school growing an abundance of produce, but that doesn't, it's not that there's a desert out here, there's an abundance, but getting that food out to the right people, it's communication, it's marketing, it's sharing. And at the end of the day, it's up to us to get those networks out there to support those people who are growing culturally relevant food. Like I know a lot of people who've been growing it generationally. A lot of them laid off, or you know, that whole thing we talked about with ICE and just not having workers, etc. But a lot of times when you have these small farmers, they're not able to get their stuff out there because they have good produce, but they can't afford to get the good licenses, or like the food safety licenses, and there's not a lot of stuff in place to protect them to get their food out in farmers markets. So it's really monopolized. Even there's toxicity on the farmers market side of things I've seen. And I've also been seeing a lot of stuff where it's not really locally grown. You have to like go to farmers market and say to yourself, wow, this looks like the same stuff that was in Walmart. This is supposed to be seed to table. So like there's that level of accountability. So at the end of the day, for me, like when I think about seed to table, I think about all these different pathways. I think about supporting community, knowing what's out there and advocating for that to continue.
Okay, and I'm gonna cover another topic. So any vegans in here, this might hurt your feelings. Plug your ears for a minute. But you all know it's good to get. You can out here, farm fresh eggs are really easy to get. People have stands, and you just drive up. I mean, it's an honor system. They have the eggs out there. You can fill up the container and leave your money in a box, in a locked box, and pick up your eggs. If you bring the container back, if you bring your own container, it's like 50 cents to $1 less for a dozen eggs. So there are places where you can get farm fresh eggs, and believe me, they taste so much different than them store-bought refrigerated eggs. And you know, if you're worried about them going bad, eggs don't go bad if you don't put them in the refrigerator. So they are good, and they're still going to be fresher than the ones in the grocery store. They said by the time you get the eggs in the grocery store, they're at least 2 to 3 months old by the time they get to you. And I know another thing that my grandmother used to, you know, I know when hog killing season is in Mississippi, that's the beginning of the fall. And my grandmother would go to somebody that she knew, you know, down in the country, and they would get their hogs from it. The reason that that's better, and, you know, I don't know how many people still eat chitlins, but these people would stop feeding the hogs regular food and just feed it meal just to clean out the chitlins. So you have a whole different level of people. You know, when you get your meat fresh, they kill the hog, they take it to, you can take it to the butcher, they cut up the sausage and all the different parts of it, and you put it in your deep freezer, and they had meat for the rest of the year, you know. So these are also options. You have, you know, being able to buy farm raised chicken, I mean free range chickens and all of that, as opposed to the first time I ever saw cows on a feedlot, I literally cried because I didn't know what a feedlot meant. And all these cows were on concrete, and they were just, you know, feeding them in troughs. But do you know how bad it is for a cow to live on concrete? And I don't even eat meat, but I still feel bad for the cows and for the people who were going to eat that meat. So these are also things that you can do. You can get farm fresh meat, eggs, you know, things straight from there. And if you know, in the bunny rabbits, a lot of people grow bunnies too for food. So these are options out there, and you don't have to look that hard. I mean, you can go on any of the social media sites or whatever and say, where are they growing this? And I guarantee there's probably someplace close to you. Even if you're in the city, there's someplace close right outside that they're growing, you know, they're supplying animals, fresh farm raised animals.
Mm-hmm. So now the vegans can take their hands off their ears now. Are you good, Lenita?
Yeah, it's okay. It's good. It's good.
Now. Crazy.
Oh, somebody else mentioned honey too. Yes, fresh eggs and honey. Honey is a real big thing out here too.
Oh yeah, we got honey out here. Honey, baby.
Asia, no poop today. But now that you mentioned it, for all of y'all that want to grow, somebody told me I won't pay for dirt. I ain't paying for no dirt, and I understand that now, that concept now, because all of my food scraps go into compost. When we had sheep and goats, you know, when we clean out the pens, all of that went into the compost, and I'm telling you, I had the best soil. So if you have animal poop, that's great. If the animals are vegetarian animals, you can use the poop immediately, except for chickens because theirs is too hot. But even your dog poop, you can use that. But horses, cows, goats, sheep, any of those, that poop is good. And human poop, you can actually use that if you have a composting toilet. But it has to be a year. You have to wait a year before you use that and put it into your compost. But poop is good.
Rabbit poop too, and it's quicker. It doesn't burn the plants. Or if you don't want animal poop, get some black soldier fly. What we did at the school, black soldier fly. Not soldier boy, black soldier fly larvae, or just black soldier fly in general.
You can use that for composting, Martina?
Yeah, you can.
I thought that was just for the chickens. All right, good.
No, that's I wasn't even using it for the chickens. We got it before we had the chickens. The larvae, they eat everything. They ate the school lunch like ain't nobody's business. Because you know how you have like the worms, it will turn. I have so much video I cannot wait to share. Like it's crazy. We basically built the system out of tubs and PVC pipe to allow them to have their little life cycle. But the larvae itself, you can put the cheeseburgers, you know, the school lunch, y'all. I don't have to talk about the school lunch where we also did like have a worm farm, but the worms, let's just say when it came to being able to eat anything, the black soldier fly were the OGs. You can put them greasy burgers in there, the processed food, they didn't die. Matter of fact, I think they did better. So and it turns it in faster than anything I've ever seen. It's pretty fast. Their little poop, but you also can throw it on like livestock poo as well to kind of help with the cleanup. That's really good too, depending on how you got your livestock integrated. But yeah, all of the above. And then the larva can also be used for feed as well. So then you got seed to table operation for your animals. Because once again, you getting food from people locally. Once again, I'm always going to go back to that relationship because like, you know, Lanita, we spoke a lot about the FFA events. A lot of these people have the animals, they take them to fair, they don't win, so or they don't make weight. So they go to the last call and, you know, they go to these places and you can buy them, store it in the freezer. But I've seen practices where they do ridiculous things to animals to try to make their animals make weight, like feed them, give them with certain things, antibiotics when they're sick. I've seen it all. And that's why I said at the end of the day, just go to people who you trust. Whether they call it it's straight from a local farm or not, just make sure you do the best you can, do due diligence and forming those relationships with people that have good practices, even with the animals. So yeah. Poop, poop, poop. And on a side note, Angelita says Disney uses human poop on all of their plants and nurseries, and I just saw a disgusted face pop up. That's why I have not been to Disney in so long, but when you do walk in those theme parks, it just smells so strong. Fertilizer.
It's another story for another time, but Martina has saved me from the mouse. So she had to save me a few years ago. It must have been the human poop. I don't know.
You know what's crazy, Asia? I saved you from a rat and a mouse. We gotta talk about that.
Yeah.
I got you.
What is this trend?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I worked at Disney, y'all. That's another story. But yeah, Disney's a wild place. But anyways, woo. Oh my goodness.
But it's still good compost. It make it grow.
No, you're right. You're right. I've seen those compost toilets.
Yeah.
They have them over at Heart, the Heart program. Whenever I go there with the kids, they be like, Nairobi's like, I gotta go to the bathroom. We're like, if you don't want to go in the compost toilet, you better wait till we pull out.
That was duties. We had to clean those every day.
Wow, man. Yeah. Anyway. Oh, moving along to the next slide.
Get back to the table. Yeah.
Getting back to the table. Seed harvesting and planting. We've been touching a lot of good topics so far. And man, seed saving, I'll go right back to seed saving again and again and again. You know, we always talk about seed saving, but one of the things that really inspired my journey to start growing my own stuff too was you, Lanita, because you gave me some seeds that I just absolutely love. You know, I love okra, and I love Roselle, aka all the other names that hibiscus that we call it. But it's so fun to grow stuff that you really enjoy. You know what I mean? You just like to eat it. I mean, who doesn't? So, and from those seeds that you gave us, and I shared some with the Heart program, which is a local sustainable farm here in Central Florida. It's amazing how we just continue to save the seeds, and like you guys said, the red hibiscus are now pink hibiscus. We got white and green they're all different colors, but every year they're just strong and resilient plants that produce so much. Even when I give them to friends up in the Northeast and different places, they do so well. So I feel like spreading those seeds, spreading the love, letting those seeds get used to different biospheres, kind of like us when we travel, or, you know, builds up our immune system, diversity in the plants and stuff. So yeah.
Clarissa on the emojis again.
Oh, let's stop talking about that Disney poop. Come on, Nami, stop.
I can just hear it going. Okay. But gosh, the seed and the harvesting and the planting, you all, that it's so important that we learn how it fits us, how we can find what is close to us, what is good for us, what we like to eat, what we don't. Martina was talking about the hibiscus. I was growing hibiscus out here, and I had somebody that's a goat like me. He came up and started eating the leaves. He said, "Oh, those leaves so good, it tastes like candy." And I'm like, "Really?" And then we start eating all the leaves off the hibiscus. Who got to wait for flowers? The leaves are so tasty. So it's just learning about what's around you, what resources are available to you. Even if you're in the inner city, I know in Chicago they have a lot of big community gardens, where you can go and get your little piece of land, get your plot, and you can grow your little vegetables or whatever you want to there if you don't have room around your house. But they're farmers markets, and there are just so many different options that you have. Get to know your local growers, or if there's some co-ops around you. Many different co-ops will mail you a box. You get like a subscription, and they mail you a box every month. So if you're interested in that, it's real important. And this topic came up because this is June, and we're talking about Juneteenth, thinking about not just freeing of the slaves, but all of the knowledge and know-how that they brought into it, all of the things that they learned and have just given us so much wisdom into how to grow, to save, to preserve our food. We can't lose that. We can't let it go. Just because we're in the city and we don't have a place to grow, we cannot lose that knowledge. So it is very important for us to remember, even from seeds, small plant, food scraps, whatever you growing from, in your house, when you buy some green onions, put them in a glass of water and regrow them. Just do that for your ancestors, because they grew everything. Everything they ate, they raised it. So, okay, I'm gonna put my soapbox up now.
Everything but the salt, right, Asia? Everything but the salt.
That's correct. That's what my granddaddy or great granddaddy did. Everything but the salt. And then our family, they would live in close vicinity, or they had neighbors, so they would pass stuff from backyard to backyard. And so, yeah, I mean, that's how you trade stuff. I mean, my aunt might have some zucchinis, or she might have some roses. You might want some roses, to put on your windowsill or whatever. But they were trading. And so it goes back to what you're talking about, Martina, with community. And I'm so glad you brought that up, Lanita. In this month of Juneteenth, that it comes back to community, and really, honing in on that. And, just I mean, I think in this world, it's so individualistic. It can be. And so I think that, and I've always said this, and I've learned it from lady. She was an older herbalist, an elder herbalist, and she said, um, herbalism is always about community. It's not just about yourself. It's not just about one seed. And when you think about the seeds, actually, it takes more than just the seed to grow. You need the soil or the medium. You need the water. You need the light. You need the darkness. You need the nutrients. So, and you need the energy, right? And also, just one other thing to add to it. I know Leah Penniman from Soulfire Farm, when earlier in her life, she took a trip, I believe, somewhere in West Africa. Don't quote me completely, but she talks about it in her first book. But she talked about how when she went, the women were talking to her, and they were like, "So I heard in America, you put seeds in the ground and you just expect them to grow. Like, you don't give thanks for them, you don't pray over them, you don't really acknowledge them in that way." And they thought it was funny, in the way that we approached growing things. So it takes it back. It is a community effort. to acknowledge, and not just human community, right? So we have all of our insect friends, our bird friends, all of our allies around us that help us to grow the seed. So, it's important to give back as well too, but acknowledging the energy that is around growing and being in community is so important. So thank you for bringing that up, Lanita.
In Asia, you said everything but the salt. I'm here to deliver the salt for you because in Senegal, we live where? Right in front of the salt mines.
I got you. I come see you.
No, we got everything. Good. Okay. I love it. Mm-hmm. And when you were just speaking, Asia, and just everything that you just said as well, Anita, it just made me think about how when you do have that reverence for planting and what it is, just on a deeper level, when you have that harvest or you're working with that plant, you start seeing it more than just the common part of the plant that it's harvested for. And you start looking at it like, what can I do with these seeds? What can I do with the leaves? What can I do with these different parts? Everything has use, not just the fruit or the flowers or the commonly harvested part, but it just really makes you appreciate it so much more. So yeah, I co-sign on all of that. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. So how's everybody feeling? Is everyone good? Good topics coming up. A lot of good conversations. Mm. Okay. Any other topics that we want to touch on or anything else that comes to mind before we ease out? Any other topics? Seed to table. What else is on our mind about this very important topic?
Don't forget your medicines. Different times of the year, if you're out here looking at plants and stuff, you can get your medicines and putting up. Like I got my black-eyed Susan. I'm going to be putting up my tinctures, getting ready for the winter and the cold months. Okay, it's just getting really hot here, but you have to plan ahead when you're, when you're working with your food or foraging from what's around you. You grab it when it grows. I got my heel all, it comes and it dies so quickly. So I saw it and I grabbed all the seeds. So hopefully I can grow some more of it. So, be aware of what's growing around you. And even if it's not the time that you need it, it might come early so that you can get it. So, get your nettles all ready for your allergy season, your goldenrod, whenever it comes up, get it, save it, put it up. Don't forget it, plan ahead.
I love that. And also, you made me think about if you tinctured and preserve it and save your medicine while it's in season, sometimes it's available and it goes to seed like that heal all, and we're not in the right position. Or I'm gonna tell you the truth, sometimes things just weren't right for me time wise to put into a garden because I was in transition or I had a lot going on and I knew it just, wouldn't be the right space. So I got seeds, but I would save them as well. And I still have some of those heal all seeds that I got from you back in like 2018. You know what I mean? So when you asked about the heal all yesterday, I was like, I still actually have some of those seed pods. I still have some of the Vitex berries, the chasteberry seeds from that tree on your land. I still have those seeds. An abundance.
Chasteberry. I couldn't think of the other name. Thank you.
Yeah, man. And I got some callaloo seeds, which you can just sprinkle them bad boys outside, but these seeds are really important to me. So I hung on to them and I got them in my little seed saving jars because when the time's right, I'll be able to plant and maybe it'll be more appropriate for someone else because you know how heal all is, like you said. So, save them seeds at the end of the day, protect them, man. That's currency.
I was about to say, it's just like a herbalist to only remember the scientific name and forget the common name. You know, you might be a herbalist if.
Vitex Agnes. Well, all right. Look at
Look,
that bee call.
I love the female names. I got Becky out here, my Rudabeckia, my Vitex Agnes. I just love those names.
That's because that chemist in you. That's that chemistry background in you for real, for real. And I thought about it too, just talking about the poop subject again. I'm not trying to go back to that, but I am. Sometimes I think about that, but as a child, I used to be like, ew, disgusting, the poop. And I would smell the manure, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be young. The poop is on the apple. I gotta wash it off really good. Little things would just kind of turn me off, and when I would think about it. But at the end of the day, like when you study chemistry, stuff gets broken down and it gets reabsorbed, and plants are little alchemists where they even can take up toxins from the environment. So you have to be mindful of that when you're foraging and just being aware of stuff too. But it's chemistry. It's all breaking it down, and someone would break down whether it's from the human poop or from the black soldier fly or this. And at the end of the day, it breaks down to these basic elements and stuff. And I'm still just like, I'm straight. You know what I mean? But um, yeah. The whole point is, like I said, that chemistry in you, that pharmacist, that forest pharmacist in you. Get that, Becky. It's not a Plies song, but anyways, let's not go down that rabbit hole. All right. Love it, love it, love it. Yeah, excited to get more into this. Save some more seeds. You feel me? Yeah. Seeds. Roll them up, see what happens. Celebration, freedom, ancestral. It's a ritual for me, for us, community, food ways, all that good stuff, culturally relevant. We hit up on a lot of different stuff. A lot of good stuff, man. We all got it together. We got what it takes to keep this thing going. I love it. Going and growing.
Asia was talking about the seeds, and you don't just put them in the ground and expect them to grow. And in another lifetime, I was an African dancer, and there are so many dances for planting, for harvesting, for rain, for just to make sure that the land knows and appreciates, feel the vibrations and the energy of the people. It's not just putting it in the dirt and hoping that it grow. They put a lot of themselves energetically into the soil so that the crops would come out good. We need to remember that.
I love that. I love it. I love it. All right. Let's see here. On that note, unless anyone else has something they want to add, by all means, please do. Speaking about community, and when you said that, just the dancing, it made me think of like being one with the whole ecosystem, doing the dance, connecting your feet on the ground, just everything, that not just the ground, but the sky and everything around you, all the elements, the air, the water, the earth, the fire. Love it. And yes, plants respond to music well. Yes, Angelita, because just makes me think of that whole resonance. It's, the energy that you put into living beings going to be the same for our food because they're living as well. So community. Anybody in the community have any upcoming events that they would like to share? By all means, feel free to unmute yourself, tell us about it, or you can put it a link in the chat. Feel free to also share your social media handles or your business web pages. Definitely want to connect and support you. So feel free to add that in the chat as well.
This isn't an event. This is just information for all of y'all that are anybody that might be looking for some land or know somebody looking for land. The Black Land Ranch is up for sale. I am trying to get back to Senegal as soon as possible. So, go on any of your real estate sites and look at me or hit me up. I think all of our information is in here at Herbalist Lounge. So the Blackland Ranch is 40 acres of what they call black land, sandy loam. Is good growing land. There is a 3,000 square foot house with a covered deck on the back, a village of huts in the back, all kinds of goodies here. So anybody interested or know somebody interested, pass this information on to them because I want to go back to Senegal. Okay.
And it's only it's like about a hour from the DFW airport. It's right there,
Right.
and Dallas has its own popping community, and it's next to a agriculture university, Texas A&M. It's in the same community, so it's a real sweet spot. You know, it's an amazing spot to do all basically infinite possibilities. So definitely share that with anybody that might be interested.
Yes.
All right, y'all. So Herbalist Lounge, you already know, subscribe to the channel. You can listen to all of our past recordings and then see some little videos here and there. Subscribe at Herbalist Lounge. And it's also the same on Instagram and Facebook. Do follow us, share our stuff, share with your plant light minded friends, etc., etc. Invite somebody the next time you come. We would love to have them. The more, the merrier. We build this community. So that's at Herbalist Lounge on all social handles. Also, back in 2022, we came together, the three Spice Sisters, and we did a kitchen medicine making workshop. It was a 2-day live virtual workshop. And this is still for purchase. You can go to the website that we will go ahead and throw in the chat. And like I said, it was 2 days. You'll get the live recordings. You'll get the recorded live recordings, if that even makes sense, what I just said. And in addition to that, you will get a workbook with recipes and all kinds of goodies. And it was the three of us, Asia, Lanita, and myself, teaching the class and just engaging in our own kitchens and outdoor spaces, talking about different ways to turn kitchen common items into uncommon and, traditional medicine. So definitely check that out and or pass it along to someone who may benefit and be interested. Appreciate it. Also, I want to say, if you haven't already subscribed for our upcoming events, I know if Asia hasn't already done it, she's going to put the link in there to subscribe to our mailing list. Now, we do tell people every month when the Herbalist Lounge is coming up as a gentle reminder. You know how it can come up very quickly. It's Monday, 8 p.m. So we'll go ahead and put in a reminder in your inbox so you don't miss a lounge and you can build with us. Also, if you are subscribed to us and you did not receive the heads up about this month's or last month's Herbalist Lounge, check your spam and junk folder because sometimes it can be in there and you may not even notice it. So definitely check that out. Okay. And also you'll get to know about some of our upcoming events. So I'm just going to give a little teaser here. We do have an upcoming workshop and class. Lanita or Asia? Do you want to just throw the topic out there? And next month's Herbalist Lounge, we're going to be able to give you a lot more information. But this is a topic that I feel like a lot of you all will be excited about. We've been putting a lot of love into this. So it'll be Asia, myself, and Lanita. And the topic is
foraging. Woo! We're going to be all different, a lot of different aspects. You all will be surprised what we come up with when we put our three heads together. You in for it. So just, look out for it. It's going to be something.
It's going to be something. 3 heads, 3 locations, and plus some more locations that we all 3 have been to. So yeah, it's going to be dope, and we'll definitely have more info on that. So make sure you subscribe and check those folders. Yeah. All right. So does anybody else have anything they would like to add? Please feel free to do so. It's been amazing building with y'all tonight. Seed to table.
Hey, Peace, it's Asia. I keep forgetting every single month, so I dropped it in the chat. She's like my herbal godmother, Shay the herbalist. She's one of the elder herbalists, so I just wanted to give her a shout out. I did put her Instagram page there, so For those who don't know Ashay, go visit her, follow her, chat with her. She's doing some amazing things as well, for women as well. So check her out. And as always, this was a wonderful Herbalist Lounge, seed to table. We talked about everything from the rooter to the tutor, from the seed to the table. Thank you so much. And I will be so excited to see y'all next month on the second Monday in July. Peace.
Right. Sounds good. Peace. One last thing, if people are still on, that I did not forget to mention, but I would like to mention, my family and I started a scholarship in my father's name, who transitioned a couple years ago. And I would like for y'all to follow the page that we started recently, because we started a scholarship for underrepresented students in the fields of science and agriculture. So if you would like to follow it on Instagram, we're going to continue doing work to raise money and awareness to get different student support in agriculture and science education. And also we're going to be starting a second one up soon for track and field. It's at Chuck Williams Seeded Legacy. I'm going to put it in there, and I would love for y'all to follow on Instagram if you do get a chance, just to kind of follow and support, because today is his solar return. Today is his birthday. So I definitely want to shout him out, and yeah, continue to do this work. And I'm grateful for that. So thank you all so much. So as I put it in, peace and love to y'all for sure. And I can't wait to build with y'all on the next Herbalist Lounge. Yeah. Lanita?
Peace and green blessings.
Peace.
Peace.